Hey everybody, we are actually
Well, I've been sitting here on this dock by the bay, watching my blue skies turn to gray. Didn't know if I should run or stay, so I pulled up Mike's weather page, 'cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. Well, I admit that I had one or a few, 'cause I was down and I was feeling blue. But then I clicked on Mike's fan page. I saw all my friends now, I'm okay. It's Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. We all know Mike's a real fun guy. He'll track the storms as they blow by. But when the drunk donkey comes out to play, Miss Julie, take his phone away, 'cause Mike's weather page, you know it's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away.
I'm not sure what the gusts are, but
well, there's Louie and her too. No telling what they're gonna do.
I think we're
you know it's got more than 1 million fans. Yeah, 'cause now Mike's weather page, you know it's got the
trying to keep the camera from getting wet.
Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. Mike's weather page, you know it's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away.
All right, what's up, everybody? All right, there's a new little tune for you. Good afternoon. I almost said good morning. I've done it every night. I say good morning. It's afternoon. Good afternoon. Good evening, actually. All right, so yeah, Mike's weather page, like the song said. Welcome, everybody. It's 6 o'clock Eastern on a Friday night. And we're talking weather, tropics, drinking some good old Monster. I just did a YouTube video, man. I was a little tired, actually. I should have had a little caffeine. The problem with my YouTube videos at 5 o'clock, I got to wait for the 5 o'clock advisory to come out because I don't really want to do one at 4 when there's a 5 o'clock advisory. So that's why we just did one. So anyway, hey, Hubbard's Marina. I'm going to be on the radio tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Pump it up, Hubbard. Where am I? What channel? 970 AM or AM, I believe. Kim King, how's it going? Lakeland, Jason. All right, so who am I? This is Mike's weather page again. How many times did I say that in 1 minute? All right. We're a tropical little weather community here. We have a great family of weather fans, over 1.5 million if you add up all of our platforms now. So really appreciate that. Been doing it a long time. And got a great crew. There's nothing professional. I'm just a weather blogger, a weather hobbyist. Highly suggest following National Weather Service and National Hurricane Center for official information. We like to speculate and use models and talk about what ifs. And yeah, we're not always right. We're not always wrong. We're somewhere right down the middle. So like they say, right? The weatherman's the best job in the world. You can be wrong and still get paid, but that's not really fair. So anyway, all right. So here's the website. This is what Mike's web page looks like. I'm gonna say hi for a few minutes, and we're gonna go right into it. Hey, Tim K, that's nice for you, buddy, over there on YouTube. Appreciate it. A lot of Tampa people. I'm in Tampa, by the way. Miss Shelley's over there helping. Got a lot of new subscribers too. We really appreciate that. Jacksonville, man, shifts. We had a little shift north. We're going to get into all that. What's up, Dale? What's up there? Carol, thanks for the stars. Hey, Lori, I know where the FGCU is. First and foremost, there's no way I can nobody can predict specific locations yet, okay? That's why the cone of uncertainty. So, yeah, it's going to be really hard to predict. Anybody is not going to predict any exact location. So, we're just going to have to get through all that. Here's a current look. We'll leave that up while we say a few more hellos. Panama City, I'm not going to read any of that. I can't go into all that stuff. But this is the latest track, 5 o'clock track. The track's slowly been inching. It appears it's inching north. It's actually inching west. So they're bumping the track west. So when you bump the track west, you're giving it more time on the water, and it takes longer to get to the coast. So they're ticking the track west, which gives it more time over water, delays the landfall just a little bit. Now we're looking around early afternoon Wednesday because it went a little north. Makes sense, right? We do have tropical storm watches in Jamaica, and we have hurricane watches in the Caymans. We have a lot of people in the Caymans watching. It does appear hurricane warnings will be there for you Sunday into Monday. So Sunday night looks like it's the worst overnight. And that's been showing up on all the models. We've been going over the storm now for 4 days. So if you're new, a lot of this stuff we've been talking about, and it's coming to play. So Dropkick Mickey, what's up, buddy? 7th Street or 8th Street in Miami? Well, I would probably go 9th Street, wherever that means. I don't never been to Miami. I never known. Storm surge on the East Coast. Great question, Adam. We're going to talk about that. So, yes, there's a couple scenarios happening. I guess we could talk about it on this site here so I can draw my cool little crayons. It does have potential to get to 4. I totally believe it does. That is a complete opinion of a non-professional person. Anyway, all right, so here's Scoop. Hey, first, real quick, I got to show you this. Then we're going to get serious. But I just got this in the mail. Look at that. Is that not the coolest thing ever? It's what I'm going to be doing in about 3 days. So thanks to Copperhead, which I love Copperhead beer, by the way. Copperhead Products. Michael Ransdell. Thank you so much. Copperhead.me from Florida. Webster, Florida. Copperhead. So that was cool. Thank you so much. They take the time to write me a nice long letter. I take the time to thank them on screen. So, all right. So here's what's going on. We got a high pressure, obviously, steering this thing. There's some wind shear coming in still from the backside. The conditions are definitely getting better right now. We're going to start seeing this strengthen really soon. The wind shear is very, very light. Very light. The waters are extremely hot right here. Again, the NHC is mentioning rapid intensification. Could be a little more than what they're showing. It doesn't take much here in the Gulf. We have loop currents, loop eddies. So I am very curious, what we're going to see. This is a 24-hour, 36-hour time over water once it leaves Cuba. The mountains of Cuba are not very tall, so it shouldn't really get affected crossing over Cuba. It's going to be going over fairly quick. Cuba's flat, so we don't really see storms weaken that much over Cuba, especially because we're going to see storms being able to continue to wrap around, and you're really not going to have anything resisting organizations. So big question mark how strong it's going to get. But look, the NHC does show major hurricane. It has inched in a little bit closer to me. It's all about me, right? That's what the world's all about now. Me. But I am there. So anyway, the cone has, it's been slowly inching north. Is it a trend? Will it stop? Usually, you don't continue to see adjustments. Usually you'll see little wiggles and wobbles unless we're seeing major changes in steering, which we could be a little bit. System's kind of moving fast too, so it takes a long time to turn these things. But anyway, the next update's going to be at 11 o'clock. We'll see. if it continues this west jog here. A lot of people are feeling Charlie vibes, obviously, rightfully so. All right, so there's the latest. That's the latest, 5 o'clock. The cone is wide. I do want to talk about the cone. Then we're going to go back to scenarios. So I don't forget, the cone is anywhere that the eye could go. And that means effects beyond the circle. That is, the cone is just the eye, the center. It isn't. A lot of people, I think the cone is where you're going to see the effects of the storm. It's not. The cone is where the eye wall could go. And look, you're kind of inching into the panhandle. You know, you guys thought you were out of it. Models have kind of done what we talk about. You know, they were here, and then here, then here. Now they're kind of coming back a little bit. You know, the windshield wiper effect. So it's kind of keeping the whole state of Florida watching pins and needles, right? Here's a current look at it, by the way. I'm going to use all tropical tidbits, or not all of it, but a lot. I'm friends with Levi, and I appreciate what he does, so we're going to use his stuff. This is satellite imagery. You can definitely see this upper level wind shear rolling in from the backside. Usually you see wind shear coming in from the other way. This is all because of Fiona. But believe it or not, normally the wind shear is coming in from the west. We're seeing it from the east. Combination. But you can see the circulation very, 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 very well. Look at that. You can see it right here. If you just kind of focus, you can start to see circulation about right here. So this is catching up to that big ball of convection, and once that happens, once we start getting stacking, it'll start organizing fast. The wind shear, you can see that very well on this map here. Very light wind shear conditions ahead, and it's even dropping more around Cuba. You know, we got an approaching front. I was on the Drew Garabo show today with John Sinning, and we were talking. I had this weird feeling today walking in the parking lot. I felt a weird heat. It's hard to explain living in Florida, but it felt like a different heat. Not hyping, but I remember when Irma was building, it had that same feeling of heat. Because we kind of have a high pressure building out ahead of this thing, which is going to allow intensification. So living in Florida, I don't know if anybody else felt it today. It just felt like a different heat. I just remember that feeling with Irma. It was weird living here my whole life. I'm a Florida native. Doesn't mean anything. Just maybe that's how the natives used to know there was a storm coming. I don't know. All right. So here we go. So we got this scenario happening. All right. What can happen? All right. So the latest Euro is showing a system that's pretty strong cutting through the state. I'm going to show you that. The Euro's smart. The Euro reads upper air patterns very well. The Euro is expecting that frontal boundary to allow this to lift and accelerate pretty quick through the state. Now, there's another scenario setting up. If you're in the Carolinas, you need to watch. We're going to talk about Florida right now. But if this scenario played out, here's the things that would happen. This is from history. First off, you would have hurricane conditions on both sides of the coast. No doubt about it. The latest Euro is at 949 pressure. That is borderline, in getting close to number 4. So that's the latest Euro. Remember this morning we talked about it. It was showing 980 and it didn't look right. So the Euro's caught up 949. The thing that we would see there is hurricane conditions on the exit of the state. And what we would see on the exit of the state would be definitely conditions to the north of center, wherever that ended up being. So yes, the worst on the East Coast would definitely be on the north side of the center because their counterclockwise storms would be coming in off of the Gulf or the warm Gulf breeze. So yes, both sides of the state can feel it. Irma, widening system, right? Big system. It had effects all along the East Coast, even when it was on the West Coast. Always a possibility. So the East Coast definitely is going to feel it. Inland, it will feel it. I have a graphic here showing you that is rain. I thought I had the wind. This is the rain map. We'll leave it up because I'm going to look for wind next. This is what the Euro shows for rain. This is an example of a storm going through the state. Purple's about 12 inches. So there, lots of rain. A couple of scenarios had a stalling out, but a cut through the state, you're still going to get rain through the state. That was the point to make. The other thing is the wind. Let me show you the wind chart here on the Euro, just to give you an idea what the winds would look like, because we will see hurricane force winds all the way through the state on a setup like the Euro showing. Now, this all depends on the track. If this track goes north a little bit, the winds would be to the north. This is just based on the current Euro, but this gives you the idea. You know, these are 80 to 100 mile an hour winds well inland, and then of course they pick up again along the coast, especially along the north side of the coast as our squall lines start to come in. So inland effects, definitely. Everybody focuses on the west coast landfall. Its inland effects can be just as bad as coastal effects. So we can see hurricane force winds all the way through the state if this system goes through the state. Just want to point that out. Power outage is going to be extremely widespread. A setup like this, we could see power outages really deep into the state of Florida. We've had unprecedented rain in a lot of spots in Florida. A lot of the ground is saturated. It doesn't take much for wind to knock down trees. Trees knock down power lines. That's how it happens. So we could see higher than average power outages because of the ground saturation. And there's a lot of concern about that ground saturation because, you know, Florida is soggy wet right now, for sure. All right, here's the latest spaghetti models on tropicaltidbits.com. These are 18Z models, and you can see that general turn up into Florida. Pretty tight, pretty kind of high confidence in a sense. I mean, not a very wide spread there. Not really seeing any in the Panhandle yet. But you definitely seeing a little trend that direction. But again, that's the latest spaghetti models. Here's another look at them. You can look at them here. Kind of a little different look. There's a couple more. There's Canadian models. So, you know, some of the models are showing this high pressure flattening out, almost blocking our system here, slowing it way down. And this could be twofold. We could have a really high wind surge event, and we could have a big rain event if this thing were to stall. There's a scenario showing up that we could see that. So we could be looking at two things right now. You know, the Euro's saying no, it's going to cut out of here. Well, actually, the Euro's showing it way up here, actually. The Euro is showing a cut like that fast, putting the Carolinas possibly at risk. Wouldn't be a huge rain event with the Euro like that, but if this thing were to stall, it'd be a big rain event because it would sit there. A lot of moisture from that lingering front. So this is just a scenario that's happening. We're seeing less models down here. Remember last night the Euro went really, really deep, but as we see with models, they windshield wiper back and they're right back where we started from. So we definitely, this has been a classic windshield wiping, flip-flopping system. We're right back to where we kind of pretty much started here, West Central Florida. So anyway, so we do have an app, Debbie. So it's an ice storm, by the way. Listen, here, let me drink my Mountain. This is not Mountain Dew, by the way. It's Monster. Are you allowed to pick your nose on live? I do a lot of things. So Hermine got used up. And Hermine is now out in Africa. So now, more than likely, we're going to be dealing with Ian. In Florida, has had a lot of eye storms. A lot of eye storms. Ian is going to be the one we're watching. So yeah, so Hubbard, what's up? Yeah, we got spinach. You know, circulation starting to stack up very nicely. You want to see what it looks like. This is really cut and dry. You can really see the low level spin. I'm going to look at a couple satellites real quick. That's really good spinach here. This is very tight circulation. This is that seed I've talked about a lot over the years. When you have good low level circulation, once you get into out of that shear, it's on. This has tremendous low level circulation, and it won't be long before we start to see some really, here's 700 millibar, 800 is not far off. So it won't be long before we see 500 catch up to it, and it won't take long for this to intensify at all. So that's what we got to worry about. So I'm going to read a few more comments here, and then we're going to cut right into the models. Intensity and some other stuff here we'll look at. Let's just leave the current track up. Space Coast, I heard a rumor they're still going to try to fly the rocket. Have you heard that, Shelly? Ian Campbell's in Jamaica. It looks like it is going to pass to your south, Ian, which means maybe tropical storm force winds. Let's see, Julie. If the Euro, all right, great question. If Charleston, if the Carolinas are in play, we're looking. I'm going to show you those scenarios here in a minute. If Julie's home, I gotta tell her to cut the car because it's driving. I can hear it idling, and I don't like the sound of that. So, it's our hot rod. It's got big mufflers on it. It sucks so much gas. She probably used a gallon sitting out there talking to her mom, probably. But the timing for the Carolinas would be maybe Thursday, Friday, because this thing's cutting up that way. So I'm going to show you that real quick. I promise. We're going to show you the Euro right away, and then we're going to go. What's the WPC outlooks? Weather breakdowns. I haven't looked at them. You talking about rain? Look at this, high wind. Look at that. Obviously, high winds, 926, 928. They're starting to see the long-range modeling showing up for the Florida Peninsula. Heavy rain, high winds. Haven't really seen any WPC outlooks yet for this system. Oh, anyway. All right, let me show you the Euro. This is it. This is what we got going on. So we got to talk about our Cayman friends first. Let's just look at the latest Cayman outlook real quick. It's still hovering around 990, 995. Wouldn't be too strong of a hurricane. Still one that you want to watch down in the Caymans, but at least the model trends have been right there, low, 995, maybe 990. So, the organization is past Caymans, and it really gets going. Like I said, the latest Euro really is caught up to the intensification of the others. Here's what it looks like. All right. So the latest Euro right here, we got potential here for Tuesday. Impacts close to the Keys. This is Tuesday on the Euro, 970. Starts to deepen pressure, 967. This is just off the Keys a little bit. 962, 955, 949. Okay, that's pretty intense drop there. So that, again, this water, we're going to have to watch that close. Very strong possibility this could be a major hurricane. Category 3 is official right now with the Hurricane Center, but 949 is inching even to more. So here's what the Euro shows. You can see the frontal line very clear as day. Here's the frontal line. It's going to be a big player in this thing. Eventually, how far down the jet stream dips is going to determine how much it pulls up. As it cuts through the state on Wednesday, 960, 968, 972, 975. So 975, still pretty strong hurricane exiting the state. So again, hurricane conditions through the state if this indeed happens with the Euro. Now what we got to worry about is this. It instantly drops back down to 969, meaning that warm Gulf Stream makes total sense, right? 965, 959. And it's been doing this little hook. We got high pressure building back in. Very reminiscent of what we saw with Irma, shoving Irma a little bit farther west. If our front is a little weaker, that jet stream's not as strong, high pressure stays a little stronger over the Atlantic, and it's kind of pushing back in. So this is a scenario that's been kind of popping up for our Carolina friends. This is Thursday night into Friday morning right here. So that's that's a real possibility, but but it's not a forecast because it's not being shown consistently, and it's not being shown by many other models. But definitely, I wanted to point that out for the Carolinas. So yeah, that's a pretty intense system on the Euro. The next Euro rolls out at 2 a.m., so you got to wait a long time. We do have an 18Z coming out. It goes out, I think, 90 hours, so I don't think it'll quite make it too far yet. But 9:49, so the intensity definitely caught up on the Euro. Latest GFS really intensifies our system off the coast. This is Tuesday, 9:47, 9:40, 9:47, 9:52, so it maintains a very strong system. This is actually the 12Z. Let's look at, should have the 18Z out yet, but I don't think it's run yet. Nope, here, let's see how far the 18Z. Oh, the 18Z went out 186 hours. Let's see what the new 18Z, oh my goodness gracious. So there's the GFS 934, 932. Now the reason it's weakening, we're going to have a frontal boundary in the upper Gulf. Frontal boundaries have a lot of wind shear in. You can kind of see this happening. We're going to have, wind shear. A lot of this stuff here is going to be blowing convection off of our storm. So the wind shear could be a little strong, and it could start adjusting a little bit of dry air, hopefully, and weaken a little bit on approach. Like we said before, sometimes you don't really see that, but man, it's going straight up the dang panhandle. So that is a big worry for our panhandle folks to be watching this possibility. So GFS, you don't want to keep knocking the GFS, but it's been wrong this year more than it's been right. Put it to you that way. That's why the NHC at least has their cone showing that possibility. One more model showing the possibility too. Here's the Canadian model. Not always that wrong, and it's showing kind of the same thing. So remember, NHC cone shows that, but they also show this for now, and the center line is this slow bend. But look who's in the cone, the panhandle. So I wish it was easier. Ensembles of, all right, let's look at the ensemble. Stephanie Smith brings up a good point. So we are seeing a little trend to the west, and the NHC has adjusted their track a little bit to the west. I'm skeptical because of Charlie, that last second turn. A stronger developing system naturally has that ability to kind of beat its way through that frontal boundary maybe. So, I think the Euro is onto something. I think it's onto that turn because it's developing, and I'm sure the NHC is too. So, but you got to at least know that those are two possibilities that are showing up out there. The ensembles are always great to look at. I've added a lot of new links, by the way. Let me show you my new links. Tampa National Weather Service Office, Florida traffic. These are pretty good. If you want to click on that, you'll get live traffic and all your discussion. We got a wind map. We got Ensemble, storm products, wind analysis. I got Dvorak, microwave imagery, key messages. So there's a lot of links. All of this right here is dedicated to TD number 9 if you want to take a look at it. But let's look at ensembles. These are great. Ensembles are great. You can really start to figure out patterns. The 5-day Euro shows very good consistency in 5 days. This is very strong signature from the Euro. Almost all the members are showing this bend northward into Florida. Still a little south of the NHC official track. The black line is the average of all the ensembles. So that was a 12Z. The 12Z that stretches out even longer, then we get some confusion. Some of these are popping up they're weaker, and then they kind of get pulled up. They're not reacting to the front, so there is, kind of like we saw with Fiona, weaker ensembles on the Euro. But the important thing to note here on the East Coast too is this: they're still showing that possibility this could get really close on exit. So Euro's solid on this turn into Florida. The GFS here, let's take a look at the latest 12Z. And the GFS in the next 5 days, is very, 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 very confident. Now, there are some of these members doing this really odd thing here. This will trick with the operational run. If the NHC doesn't buy this, the GFS might have more of a Western bias based on the fact that some of these ensembles are pulling itself a little bit. So you can see though that the general thinking on the GFS also is a slow bend to Florida. So we'll see if there's any windshield wiper effects going on here. Some of these ensembles just seem like they're out to lunch, really, but these are weaker setups that I don't know. But hey, they're out there. We got to show them, right? So there are some weaker members but this storm is not very likely to weaken in the Caribbean. So a stronger system is going to get pulled up. A weaker system goes west, but like we saw with Fiona, it was a stronger system. It got pulled northward. It didn't do that weak west track. So yeah, I'm doubtful of that. I'm more curious in the fact that we've seen slight wobbles in the track here, and 11 o'clock, we'll see if they have another slight wobble to the track. We'll see. It'd be really curious if they buy into those westward trends and they move the line. If they don't move the line, then more than likely the confidence is increasing of this slow turn towards the peninsula. So there you go. Couple things to note on storm surge. Storm surge can be really bad. Any system that crosses north Tampa here is extremely bad. Extremely bad. That surge, counterclockwise flow, would just pump right into the bay and coastal areas. So if you're routing against surge in Tampa Bay, you do not want this to go to the north of the bay. Same thing with Cape Coral and the Fort Myers area. This setup would be bad for Cape Coral and Fort Myers. There's slosh maps that I'm going to show pretty soon. I'll start posting them. Slosh maps are worst case scenario maps. And I still have them linked on my site, actually. You can see them over here. Let's see. Where are they? Surge potential. Would this be the one? Let's get started. This one's not too bad, I guess. So we can change the base map to category. Let's go to category. Let's see, high tide flooding. Okay, that's good. Where's my category maps? Somewhere. They've changed them. Legend? Oh, I don't know. They don't have my categories anymore. Well, that's different. Huh. All right, well, let's try another one. We got another surge potential map. This is not that same one. There we go. So this one's a little different. Oh, this is different. We haven't used them all year. So, look at that. They changed the link. So that's going to be interesting. We got a new surge map somewhere. Here's another site we use, but it's not really updating yet. Potentials. So I'm not buying it. We really don't have any surge maps really yet. Why is this one? They've changed this one here that we used to use a lot. I don't know why. That's not the one. I'm going to have to get rid of that one. It's this one right here. But we used to have a base map somewhere that had, over here, we used to have, oh, here we go, storm surge. Okay. So let's go to category 3. And just for example, worst case scenario, category 3, this is what we could see. It's all about the angle of approach. You know, this is a storm that passes to the north, but it brings in all this water in the bay. And, you know, we saw this with Ada. I mean, these are areas that would be underwater with a category 3. So even without a direct landfall, Tampa needs to keep that storm either out to sea or below, or we could have a really bad surge issue. You know, any storm that came by like that would be bad. We haven't really ever had that. We had Elena way the heck over here, and it brought record surge into Tampa Bay, and it never even got close. Elena just kept pumping in those waters, and so that'll be something we're monitoring, is the surge for that. But regardless of that, a couple days away. All right, let's see. So hurricane hunters are out there flying around. Every little model run now is important. I'm going to share them as they come in. The 18Z Book North Panhandle, that was the Euro, or GFS, excuse me. The Euro is still king, and we'll see. 70 Stokes, yep. 1921 hurricane, yep. We had a hurricane that flattened Oldsmar in 1921. Storms moving 15 miles an hour. Good, thanks, Eric. Keys are right on that edge. Listen, the Keys are very tricky. The latest Icon model, which I don't even want to show it. It's not a good track model, but it's showing more of a Keys impact. I mean, just so you know, I mean, there's the latest Icon. Actually, it didn't. Oh, this is 18Z. This is 18Z. So yeah, you know, everybody's just to the west of the Keys. Let's take a closer look here with the Windy app. We can really zoom in here and see here what the Euro says. So it'd be sometime around what, Tuesday? This is Tuesday, 8 p.m. This is the latest Euro. So the good news, at least the eye wall would be offshore. You know, last night we had a lot of models showing South Florida. We've seen 2 days ago we had models kind of where they're at today. Yesterday's models kind of went south. Now we're kind of back to where they were 3 days ago. We're doing this classic wiggling around that totally makes sense. But the Keys are really close here. This is Wednesday midnight, so we can still see some strong winds in the Keys regardless of a landfall. You know, this is a 100-mile-an-hour wind gust. That's the Euro. GFS is obviously way west. So there's a big difference in the two models right there. GFS way west, and Euro too close for comfort right now. Holy cow, 117. That's wind gusts. But we can still have sustained winds close to hurricane force. So, yeah. That's the Euro. The Euro's the most farthest east model right now. It's a little bit farther east than the NHC right now. So this is your outlier. The GFS was the outlier. Now the Euro has become the outlier. So yeah, you need to be watching close. This is Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. This is Wednesday 1 a.m. And the Icon, for what it's worth, I mean, it's showing really close there to the Keys too. So yeah, you're close enough to watch. And then that's what the latest Euro is showing. right between Naples and Cape Coral. The NHC is somewhere around here. Not a big difference, but this would be Wednesday 11 a.m. if the euro is right. Here's that euro cutting through the state, like I mentioned. I mean, we would have tremendous winds inland. There's a lot of water down here, a lot of low land, so it's not going to weaken much. This is on exit. This is Wednesday night, and you can see how the euro starts to impact counterclockwise winds, Daytona Beach. And this is the second part that we needed to talk about, which I kind of briefly did, would be the chance that it curves up into the Carolinas. So if you look at the upper level steering maps, you can really see it well here, what's going on. I haven't even looked yet, but I know what it's going to show. That front is not digging down as much originally as thought, and we're getting a little weakness, possibly. That's the icon. We got to go to euro. Getting a little more weakness, and oh my goodness, I hate that color. I like this color. I like oranges and blues. So this is what the euro is showing. There's our weakness. There's our front. There's our jet stream dipping down. There's our high pressure to the, over the Atlantic. There's our high pressure. This helps rotate our system to the gap, and that's what the euro is showing. The other, then see, here's that high building back in. So that's exactly the scenario the other models are showing. The timing of this weakness. If that jet stream pulls out of here quick, high pressure is going to build back in quick and seal off our system. So if you look at the GFS, I haven't looked at it, but I'm sure it's showing the same thing here. There it is. So it's really all comes down to how strong that weakness is. We have a turn. This is Tuesday. Weakness towards Florida, and that weakness seals up quick. High pressure builds in quick, and basically blocks that escape route out of here, and that's why the GFS went north. So that's a scenario to talk about. I mean, Euro's always been better with upper level winds. So let's see what the UK is showing. The UK has a new 12Z that came out. I haven't even got to see it yet, so we'll take a look here. See what it's showing as far as our actual center goes. You can see it developing down here and gets close to the Caymans on Monday. And the UK looks like it turns it into Florida. It stops at 168. So there's a little bit of turn. So it's going to be agonizing watching this possibility of peninsula or a pole north. That is why the NHC cone is so wide on day 4, day 5. This is the euro. Makes a lot of sense to me. Fast moving, developing system. Definitely accelerates northward quicker, a faster system, kind of like Charlie. Last second turn, cut through the state. So there you go. Too early to tell. But yeah, listen, anybody in that cone needs to be watching. The 5-day cone is a serious thing. It's not done without a lot of effort from the National Hurricane Center, right? If you're in that cone, there's a chance, there's a good chance that this storm's going to affect you. They wouldn't do that if there wasn't a chance. So the puppies are snoring. Storm surge on the East Coast, most definitely rotating system counterclockwise. We can see storm surge all on that East Coast, possibly. We saw it with Irma. Irma surprised the heck out of a lot of folks up in Jacksonville and all along the intercoastal on the East Coast. up to Brunswick and Savannah. Irma was a huge system, large. Let's see what the Euro shows as far as what it might look like. This is the latest. Let's take a looky here. Gulf of Mexico. So here's the latest, what it could look like as far as simulated satellite. This will be a good one because we'll be able to see that frontal line come in. But this is what the Euro is saying. That's a good look. I mean, that's, there's our frontal line. There's dry air. A very classic October style storm pulling up, turning. That's what it could look like according to the Euro. Dry air, fast motion north with a turn. So there you go. Ice storm, Irma. Who remembers all these ice storms we had? We had Ivan, Ike, Irma, Isaiah. Isaiah. What else we got? I'm gonna look at some comments now. So appreciate all the support over there. YouTube, we got some new Grateful Nomad. Thank you for that. Tristan, thank you. Appreciate that, Tristan. And that's it. So, I guess Talladega's still on, Chris. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I just wish we, no, I'm still leaning towards that Euro setup of a fast acceleration northward. And, a little questionable on the East Coast what happens with that high pressure blocking. But the initial motion and cut through the state, seems like the most logical one to me right now. But if that weakness closes, then, we could see this thing, stop. Here's what the GFS showed earlier today. Actually showed a stalling out before it kind of got lifted up. See, the GFS was down by Tampa, 959. This is where the GFS is all over the place. Overnight last night, it was West Central Florida. Now it's back up here to the Panhandle. So just not putting a lot of stock in the GFS right now. Doesn't seem like it reads upper air patterns all that great. All right. So winds in Miami? Well, it depends. I mean, you can see tropical storm force winds for sure. Here's a map that the times are put on. It shows you the most reasonable times that you could possibly see tropical storm force winds. And it includes Miami. So, there, anywhere in that circle, obviously the percentage rates increase with the color, which is coded on the bottom there. But, Miami's in a 40 to 50% likelihood of tropical storm force winds at least, and that would be as early as Monday evening, Monday night. And this is going to increase, obviously, as this thing gets closer, percentages are going to start increasing confidence. But this is when you can start seeing tropical storm force winds as early as Tuesday here at home in Tampa. So even though we could be looking at a landfall later Wednesday, you can still see tropical storm force winds way ahead of it. And that's because our storm's going to be big. It's going to be growing. The wind field. It's going to be entering that Gulf of Mexico. The water. Hottest water of the season right here. And this is what's got a lot of people kind of worried. This ocean heat content right here is extremely warm. And if our system goes over any of this, which is going to, rapid intensification, it can definitely happen. It's going to be very favorable conditions here in the lower Gulf, Western Caribbean to watch out for. These loop currents Ida rode over them last year all the way up to Louisiana, and they're proven to be a big factor in hurricanes development. This is extra warm water. This doesn't even include the normal ocean heat content. This is the actual Gulf Stream, which fuels even deeper water, hotter water below the surface. So these loop currents, loop eddies are very key in rapid intensification. I got a graphic I want to show you with what these mean, the loop currents right here. So Ida, there's a graphic on the top left. You can see where Ida was kind of weak. It was a tropical storm. Ida was a tropical storm when it came off of Cuba. And man, once it got going over these loop currents and hit that warm water in the Gulf, it exploded to a 933 high-end Category 4, 150 miles an hour. And it's been proven now that Camille, Katrina, Harvey, Michael all crossed over loop currents. And yeah, it's fascinating, right? They're extra ocean heat that converts into storm energy. They usually drift about 1 to 3 miles a day. They can extend down 3,000 feet from the surface, providing extra warm water. So that's something that you don't want. Wind shear, we talk about wind shear all the time. We got our trusty little toy here. This is what we got right now. This is our Fisher-Price wind shear analysis map. And what we got right now, we have a system that has great lower level circulation. 700's catching up, but 500 millimar is like being blown away right now because of the eastern shear. So we don't have any stacking going on. But once our systems stack, where we have less wind shear and we have a vertically stacked system, that's like the perfect storm right here. Not good. And every major hurricane we've ever had has had very light wind shear that enabled the stacking to occur, and storms can really intensify fast once we don't lose those upper level clouds. So one satellite that really shows it good too, let's take a look at it. Cyclonic weather. Oh, and I want to look at another one too. Let's look at the Ensemble. I'm losing interest. I put a little too much stock in ensembles with Fiona because operational models still weigh a lot. We're starting to see some weaker ones again, which are tricking the operational runs. All right, so where's our storm here? Tropical depressant 9. We're going to look at red, blue top. What do you change the names here? Red, green. Is that the one I like? I can't remember now. Nope, that's not the one. Here it is. Red, green, blue, visible. All right, beautiful imagery right here. This classic red, green, blue satellite shows you. Let's just stop it right here because it's kind of hard to see. Right there, boom. Right before the sun goes down. So right before the sun goes down, you can really start to see. Here's our lower level clouds. You can see the swirl, right? See these clouds? This is our lower level right here. Our center's somewhere right there. And right at the end there, you start to see some convection firing over center, which indicates that this thing is definitely becoming a little more organized. As a matter of fact, the last little burst of convection here happened right as the sun went down. So our system definitely is beginning to organize. You can see a really big burst of convection right before the sun went down. And we'll see it really good here on Weather Nerds too. Man, I hate it when I zoom back in and it's like, boom! So let's take a look at Weather Nerds and check it out. This is a little wider imagery to see it, but for sure, there it is. There's that big boom of convection that just happened, and we could put it loopy. So definitely getting into lower shear environment, and we're going to see this thing really intensify. When you got that tight core circulation, it's been steady actually. Doesn't really show that last one that good, but pretty good. Moisture content in the atmosphere. Let's take a look at that. There's plenty of moisture out there. There's really no dry air to think of right now because our front is to the north, so it's got a lot of moisture. This is our system right here, so it's got a very moist moist Dane, where's mine, buddy? Storm got face and teeth. I know. Did you see the face? I saw it. Fuzzy clouds. Agua, what's up? Oh, Lisa, appreciate that. Tampa, Apollo Beach area. Sam, we got a potential hurricane coming, bud. Could be a major hurricane. Orlando's a great question. Well, honestly, you could potentially have hurricane force winds, guaranteed. Sunday, Orlando should be fine. This thing is getting here more Monday night, Tuesday. East Coast what, Corrine? What are you talking about? East Coast what? East Coast Florida? No. East Coast Florida is going to get effects 100%. And there's a chance that the East Coast, meaning Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, could get a little effects too, according to the latest Euro. Hey, Doug. Thank you, buddy. Clap, clap, clap. Everybody should have a plan, know your zone. Evacuation zones change all the time. Get gas before it gets too crazy out there. Make sure your generator runs. Make sure you have enough power cords to run to your things you want plugged in. There's a bazillion links out there about having a preparedness hurricane kit. I have them all over my site on the top. How to prepare, be ready. They're right here from the National Hurricane Center on the very top. What's up with the popping thing? That's something new. So we have NWS Plan and Prepare. These are great links that what to do before a storm, hurricane safety, how to plan, how to take action after a hurricane. So there's a lot of great data right here. NWS Hurricane Plan and Prepare is another link. National Preparedness, National Hurricane Preparedness, and there's determine your risk, develop an evacuation plan, assemble disaster supplies, get an insurance checkup, strengthen your home, help your neighbor, and complete a written plan. So there's some great resources right here that probably I need to focus more on if you have any questions about it, especially if you're new to Florida. And I don't suggest storm chasing, storm documenting. So yeah, Orlando, here's the deal with Orlando. I mean, Orlando technically is in the cone, right? I mean, the models have, this is important to say, the models have done what we didn't want them to do today. They were a little bit more confident this morning. The models now are messing around with this potential slowdown, and that could be tricky. Definitely tricky. If this is a major hurricane entering Florida, Orlando, you're going to see winds. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Especially, the next track that we're going to see from the NHC should start to focus on where they think this thing's going to end up. And we talked about it this morning. Remember, if the next track is like really short, they're indicating a slowdown. If the next track is fast, then they're expecting a European style exit. So it's all going to come down to this high. Now, more data is being fed into these models. This jet stream could be a little weaker in that front, a little bit weaker meaning that high pressure is going to build back in, shoving our system a little bit more west. But a stronger hurricane kind of does its own thing. Strong systems have their own mind and ability to defy what they're supposed to do. And we've seen a lot of storms make that last little turn. All strong storms eventually turn. Not all of them. Harvey sat there, I know. But this weather pattern, most all strong storms turn. If you look at some graphics here, this is from Bay News 9. There's been 4 October hurricanes that formed in the Caribbean that worked up to west central Florida. And you can see they all ended up either A, cutting across the state. I wish I could bring this up bigger. I don't think I can. Maybe I can. Nope. But anyway, 2 of them kind of went straight and then finally turned, and 2 of them cut across the state. Here's October storms here. You can see that generally they all eventually turn to the northeast. So history says that our system, if it's developing, if it's stronger, like the Euro says, I would tend to believe that more than anything. But hey, 11 o'clock. 4 hours. No. Yeah, 4 hours. 4 hours. You get a whole night's sleep in 4 hours and set your alarm and come back and check out the 11 o'clock update. This is a really hard system right now to predict right now. Remember, when we were confident with Michael, it was 3 days out. Okay, this one's still technically about, 5 days out? So, little hard to be 100% on who's going to get what. I mean, that Eastern Gulf, West Coast, Florida theme has been the theme this whole storm, but we're kind of stuck here now on exact landfall and what it's going to do after. But you can see it really well, man. This is really cool to see on Levi's site. It's pretty fascinating to watch. But it all comes down to this frontal boundary. It's awesome to see. But 2 schools of thinking going on right now. You have the Euro, basically. There's our front, and here's the front. What I'm talking about. Front is showing up clear as day on our long-range surface charts. We go to next Wednesday. Let's go to Tuesday here. Here's next Tuesday. And there's a very clear frontal line, right? A very clear Tuesday. But it kind of starts to... I was seeing if they're going to tease us where it might go, but they don't do that. It stays diagonal. Any diagonal front, it's going to be an easier escape on our system. This is Wednesday. But that's our front. We definitely have a front coming down. This is 500 millibar, but this is what we're looking at. I'm going to go the other color here. Well, we can do this one too. This is the jet stream dip. So there's our jet stream showing that weakness and kind of pulls our system up a little bit, grabs a hold of it. Pretty cool, right? I like that stuff. All right, here's your normal one. And but the difference with the GFS is that the we got a PV streamer on there. See this one here. Kind of loses its little exit here. High pressure builds back in. So it's a battle, like I said, the GFS is losing this exit here, the jet stream, and high pressure starts to build back in and kind of closes our system off. And That's what the GFS says. So if we see overnight models tonight and we see the GFS wiggle back, then that's at least building confidence that it's not going to surprise anymore, but we won't know until midnight. But again, I'm trying not to even show the GFS because it's been wrong so much. So I'm trusting the euro at this point. I believe it. I've seen it living here in Florida my whole life. And that's what we're going to see. So we'll see what the NHC says, right? I'm watching it like a hawk, I can tell you that. So yeah, nobody's talking about it in Georgia. Well, man, I mean, this setup for Georgia would be bad. I mean, it's one model run. Don't get, you can't get worked up about it. But it is a reality. This thing exits Florida. There's a chance it could, get awfully close there. Maybe make another landfall in the Carolinas. I mean, this is all dependent upon this thing exit in Florida, and but that's definitely a possibility. Overnight 00Z, kind of clipped Carolina. So the euro has been consistently showing an exit path out of here. Farther up it goes, obviously, the more chance it would have on an East Coast impact. And here's the trends with the euro, just for fun. You can see it. This is the most recent run. Overnight last night was a little far south. The yesterday run was really far south. So the euro's kind of trended north a little bit. So I'll be real curious what it looks like. And we have an 18Z run coming out here in a little bit, so we'll see that. What's new at 7? Anything new at 7? No. All right, cool beans. All right, well, there's a 30-minute update in an hour. Nobody's talking about it in Daytona. So strange. Has anybody got the feeling like this is like nobody's talking about this thing? I mean, Daniel, I saw your comment. Come on, bro. Please say hi to your mom, Susan Gale. Where the heck did it go? I can only see 4 comments. Oh my God, I got almost your name up. Where was it? Oh my God, I can't come back. Trying to find your comment, buddy. Oh. Well, I got most of it in. It's the way the chat works. It rolls by so fast. But hey, I kind of got you, Susan Gale. When do I think they're going to cancel flights? Don't know. I have no idea. I mean, Monday you're fine. Tuesday should be fine. Nobody's talking about it in Jacksonville. Well, it's going to be interesting. Linemen are lining up. We got people down here in Florida already. I saw Tammy Kent, Team OSR. They're staging, and started seeing pictures sent to me from different spots around the county that are staging linemen. So they're ready. Obviously, they're ready. This thing hugs the coast and makes landfall, north of Tampa. There's going to be a lot of people affected. Unfortunately, the shape of our state is, prone here to have a really wide-reaching, issue. Where'd our circle go? Come on, circle. Where do you go? There it is. All right. A setup like this, man, that would be the worst case scenario for a lot of people. I mean, you'd have a lot of storm surge hugging the coast, a lot of population here, Pinellas, Pasco, Hernando, Hillsborough, Manatee. So, even without a direct hit, you would see constant storms just rolling in. I mean, counterclockwise. So slow approach along the Florida west coast would be really bad. There'd be more people affected with surge and power. And, remember, direct landfall, a little different. It weakens and goes north, and this thing would still be staying strong as it skirted the coast. So we'll see about that. Yeah, we got a state of emergency in 24 counties. Joan, yep, I didn't see. Hey, Lodging Solution. What's up, Earl Lee? Lodging Solutions is one of our supporters. They've been with us a lot of years, man. Bolton Holden's here. Great company. I met the whole crew. They're awesome. Saw them down at the Governor's Hurricane Conference. And I thank them so much. They've been supporters of our page for a lot of years, and they are an amazing company. They set up overnight a complete city, and they can sleep thousands and thousands of line workers. They bring in toiletry, they bring in linens, they bring in kitchens, they bring in food. Total overnight tent cities for our workers, because these are things you don't even realize. I didn't realize that are part of storms. Is where do all these linemen go? Right, the hotels are going to be full. They might be full of evacuees. They might be evacuated. There could be damage from a storm. So these guys bring in complete. They actually have semi trucks that are complete sleeper trucks. That, look at this. I mean, unbelievable. You should check the site out. What they do, mobile sleep trailers. Mm-hmm. It's just phenomenal. It's an industry I didn't even know existed. That is just so fascinating. So yeah, we'll see you down there for sure. And our friend Tammy, if she's watching, they're the damage assessors. They're the first ones on the ground that actually help the linemen, point them in the right direction. They go out on the field, wire down watchers, logistics support, restoration services are the first ones on the scene. They have a whole team that goes down and assess the damages so they can start directing where the linemen are going to go. I mean, it's a huge process. Cleanup is huge. Another one of our great companies that follows us. What is that thing? I have to update something real quick. It got bumped on my thing here. I don't know. My Twitter thing's working. It was. Is that even updating? I changed my bot. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I was having problems with the Twitter box. We got a Facebook box back again. Sometimes it doesn't load, but you should be able to see all my posts right here on the side. Let me know if you don't, but it's been working good. By the way, I got a satellite phone coming. Satmoto, right? Check this out. These guys are sending me an actual satellite phone in case I go storm chasing next week. So that's awesome. We'll be getting that. Not hoping I don't need it, but it's going to be nice to have. Yeah, so recovery is huge. Carlisle Thompson, they work with the cities and local governments with FEMA, and all these cleanup companies come down. They have work with FEMA and recovery and rebuilding cities, and where does all the trash go? Where's all the trees go? Where does all the cleanup go? So a lot of great companies that are really involved heavily in the storm recovery process after a storm, and all the way to governments and little local cities. They need help to get back to normal again. So all these companies, they're all going to be coming to Florida, it looks like. So there you go, everybody. All right, so listen, we'll be live in the morning again, 9:19. We're going to see a new run at 11. I'll be anxious to see that one, and we'll see if there's any changes. But we're kind of getting close now, right? We're kind of getting there. I think the big question is going to be: does the NHC increase speed, meaning intensity? The latest H-Wharf, I show this a lot. The H-Wharf is a really good model for predicting intensity, and it's been very, very strong and aggressive on possible development with our storm. The 18Z is running now, but here's what the H-Wharf's showing as a possibility. 953 pressure. Now again, the location, I don't know if they're the best on the track, but it's showing you strength 948. The Euro's showing 948 at landfall. The H-Wharf's showing 948 over here. So 945. And if you're curious what that means, 945, 930 range is borderline 4, category 4. So, some of the models are showing it. Let's hope not. Right? Cool, man. Hey, it's Mike. ATL Atlanta, Florida girl. Is that how you say it? Mike Soul, what's up, buddy? Smash the like button. I like it. Brian Gross, what's up? I am not the Florida man. I am in Oldsmar. Yes, Shelly. I'm in the Oldsmar area. I'm the Oldsmar, not Old Orlando. Thank you, Michelle Carpenter. No, Debbie, not officially Cap 4. I'm just saying there's a couple models showing that. And it's definitely very believable from what I've seen with rapid intensification on systems that enter that Western Caribbean lower Gulf. There is going to be some wind shear from that front, so it might have an opportunity to really peak and then hopefully weaken. But thank you, Trish. I appreciate that. Thank you, Patsy. Thank you. Majori, yeah. Euro so far, if you had to pick one model, that would be the one. Cliff Klein. Is that my buddy Cliff Klein? What's up, Cliff Klein? Heard you took a nap. Oldsmar, I'm a little worried. My only worry about living in Oldsmar would be surge. If our system went to our north, I'd be very, very... First off, I'd be very curious if these slosh maps actually verify, because some of these maps I can't even imagine. I showed this earlier, but it's the most fascinating thing to me ever. This little spot right here is 2.5. This is 2.5 miles from my house, or from the bay. This is by my house. There's a water line that's about, I don't know, 10 feet high. That's my truck. And it's still about 5 foot above my truck. So this is 2.5 miles from the bay. 2.5 miles. They say on a major hurricane. Now that's almost, it's like a worst case scenario, but could happen. Everything lines up and that angle of approach is correct. I couldn't imagine. We had that 1921 hurricane that crossed through north of Tampa Bay, right? We had Hillsborough River. All the boats ended up leaving the river. Big old steamboats. There's 10 to 11 foot of surge over downtown Tampa. This is 1921. Tampa, city of ruins. Hundreds of beach homes disappear. Oldsmar was flattened. This was 1921. We had a storm go just north of Tampa Bay. So that was, that's big. All right. Well, I gotta save a little bit of energy, I think. See if there's anything else cool I can show. Doesn't look like I'm gonna get to do my ABC. I don't know. We haven't talked to Sean. But here's a good. This is a good graphic. Or I guess I should share it. This is Michael. This shows you when you see the NHC graphic here. This is what you see. this is the NHC graphic right here. This is what you see. That's what everybody sees, right? It doesn't show you inland effects. And I wish they would change it. I really do. It's so deceiving because you don't see what's going to happen inland. And Michael had hurricane warnings way up into Alabama and Georgia. There's Category 3 winds in Alabama and Georgia. And we had tropical storm warnings all the way to Macon, Georgia. So a lot of the public doesn't see this. Now, Weather Channel does this graphic. It's great. It shows you the counties that are, and we're going to have the same thing here in Florida. If the Euro is correct, then we'd likely have hurricane warnings all the way through the state. But you're only going to see the NHC graphic showing the coast. So very important when these start happening. I try to share them a lot because it really gives people the that, hey, we're going to have something in the inland just as much as the coast. So, all right. That's about it. So, man, hey, you want to count? Hey, Shelly, let's count how many windows I got open. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 35, 35 tabs. So, what are my thoughts of Fort Myers? That you need to look at the NHC cone. Fort Myers would be on the worst side. Remember, the northeast quadrant's the worst usually, but typically, this side is the worst. Typically. We already showed the keys there, Jake, but there's a chance that you could see hurricane force winds according to a couple models. It's going to get close. And you're in the cone, but the trends have been a little bit away from the keys. So, but we see little windshield wiper effects a lot. So I'm not 100% sold on that yet. Especially if our system gets stronger faster, it might end up pulling a little more north. So we'll see. Sean says, so we have people from ABC watching. Welcome, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. So I guess I mentioned the convention and Sean just messaged me. We were supposed to do a really cool ABC convention Monday, but apparently they had to cancel, which makes sense. I mean, you got people going to likely have evacuations, prepping homes. Probably not a good idea to have people out when you got traffic trying to get out of Dodge and you're getting into Dodge. All right, so we'll be doing it in the morning. We will be live. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday. Yeah, we'll be live tomorrow, Shelly, right? We'll probably be Shelly. We'll probably stick to something in the morning, 9:19. Why not? I'll be doing a radio show at 7 with our buddy Dylan Hubbard, and then at 8 I'll be doing the in-house show in Orlando. So we'll be on the radio twice. So that'll be fun. As long as I got my voice. All right, cool. We got dinner plans, and do we?
7:30.
Oh, 7:30. Wow, what time you work tomorrow?
5 a.m.
Oh my God, I guess I had dinner plans. So we'll see in the morning, right? All right. Don't stress out quite yet. The only people that should be really stressed right now are those down in the Caymans because you're under hurricane watch, and you still got a few days. But I'd be really on the edge of my seat in Florida, and as long as you're in that cone, the cone is where the eye could go. So people are asking about Miami. I mean, listen, the only trends that we're seeing is a little bump now to the southwest, meaning more of a north landfall. But we'll see at 11. I'm really curious what comes out at 11. We're going to see a new model suite of spaghetti models at 9. That's what I'll be looking forward to. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow for sure. I'll be doing a YouTube quickie by what time? Probably by. Well, I do my radio show. Let's see, 7. I'll do my. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I'll do it in the morning.